Hey, I'm Gray and I'm making a scary tower defense. Now the main idea I had going into this project was to create a 3D tower defense where you need to fear your life while defending the main base. The thing with most tower defense games is that you as the players are often unaffected by troops. Sure, they may look big and scary, but they pose no direct threat to you, but only to the base. So I'm going to be making a game that fixes that. I started by making a sphere for the player, then adding some basic movement. Though since I'm new to Unreal and game design in general, I didn't know what direction to take, so I deleted the sphere and modeled a basic player character using Blender. I imported the character into Unreal and gave it some animations, and as you can see, it works perfectly. Next, I modeled a scary enemy to put in the game. And I'm gonna be honest, this may be scary to a toddler, but this is not scaring me. I put the looks aside, imported it into Unreal, animated it, and made it follow and attack the player. Then I added sprinting to the player character so you can now run from these corpses by pressing shift. I then made a wave spawner that spawns 5 enemies and made it so that when all the enemies die, the next wave will spawn. So this isn't quite a tower defense at all, so I decided to add a base as well as a test map. The walls are a good way to provide a sort of traditional track you see in tower defense games, and the enemies now walk down this track to the base. Now I coded the AI so that the enemies will automatically walk towards the generator and attack it. Though if they see you, they will target you instead. The enemies will check if they see the player every once in a while, and if they don't, they switch back to targeting the generator. I also made it so the enemy sprints towards the player and walks towards the generator. This is kind of scary, and you can try to develop some strategy around it. Now the base is just a sphere for right now, but it serves its purpose and will definitely be changed in the future, as well as the map. Though there is a base to defend, there is no way to defend it, so I modeled an AK sentry turret in Blender and imported it into Unreal. Now when you press 1, you spawn a ghost of the turret, and when you click it, spawns the turret. Now originally when I imported it, I decided to make the turret spawn projectiles. The projectiles will target an enemy and move towards them. It does damage to the enemy on collision, though this looked and functioned really poorly. And yes, those yellow blocks are meant to be bullets, and no, the bullets are not meant to be orbiting the enemy. Also, there is this fully automatic version. This was completely intentional and not at all a glitch. There's also this too. Don't even know what this is. I also made it so that the whole turret now rotates to face the enemy. Anyways, sometime along that process, I made the enemies take knockback when damaged. It makes for a semi-decent hurt animation, but also adds another mechanic to the game. I might change this in the future, but for now it stays. I also added a mechanic where after each enemy you kill, you earn gold. At first it was a random amount of gold, but I thought it was too inconsistent for strategy across runs, so I made it drop a certain static amount of gold for the type of enemy you kill. I added some UI to the player, like a red flash when damaged, as well as a health bar, stamina bar, gold counter, and base health bar. The AK sentry now costs 50 gold to spawn. Though I felt like we needed more enemy variation, so I modeled this guy in Blender. This is a tank enemy. He has 10 times the health as the corpse enemy, he is slower, and takes less knockback when damaged. He charges his attacks and deals 100 damage if he lands them, so he will one-shot you if you get caught by him. Next, I needed to fix this turret, so I removed the projectiles and switched the line traces. It draws a line from the end of the turret to the enemy that is targeted. If the line connects, it does damage. I also added a set range to the turret, so now it won't fire at an enemy across the map, and now it needs to be in the range. I made particles spawn on firing, so there's now smoke trails and flashes. Though, I took this from a royalty-free pack of particles, and I definitely think I imported it wrong because it looks very blocky. I also made it so that only the top of the turret rotates towards enemies, and the bottom is static. Right now, all you have is the AK sentry, and unlike my game, most tower defenses have a variety of defense to choose from. Let's change that. I modeled this rocket sentry in Blender and imported it into Unreal. This turret also spawns projectiles, though it doesn't look nearly as bad and works quite well. When the projectile connects to an enemy, it explodes, dealing good damage to an area of enemies. Quite effective at killing the corpses that are behind the armored or the tank enemies. This also used the same pack of particles as the AK sentry, so it looked kinda bad. While I did make it so when you press 1 you spawn the AK sentry, I felt hotkeying all the turrets is not what I want, especially if I want to add descriptions and such to the turrets. So for now I made a menu where you can click the buttons on the left to spawn a turret. This menu will definitely be revamped in the future. It is very prototypey right now, it doesn't look that great. And I will most likely add hotkeys back to turrets in the future, but for now I'm just making it menu related. The thing on the right is an inventory. Now I added an inventory because I thought that the crafting would work decently in this game. Now hear me out. In traditional tower defense games, you only have money. Though in this game, I had the idea of having enemies drop body parts. This not only makes for some cool turret designs, but also forces some exploration from the player. Say you are behind your defenses. You would never have a reason to leave that safety, so now enemies that are killed have a chance to drop certain parts. You can pick up the dropped parts using E. This animation is perfect and there's definitely nothing wrong with it. I also made it so that when you click on an item in your inventory, you can either drop one or drop all of them. And as you can see, this worked first try. Okay, never mind. Oh god. After about a day of tutorials, I actually got it working properly. Now you can actually either drop one or drop all without mass duplicating the item. Now, I needed to make something for you to spend these crafting materials on, so I modded a crossbow turret. This corpse crossbow costs 1 corpse head and 100 gold. This turret has very high single target DPS, though it doesn't shoot too fast, so the knockback is relatively low in comparison to the AK Sentry. Also, arrows get lodged in enemies that are not killed on hit. This has no gameplay mechanic, but I think it looks quite cool. Next, I needed to add a turret for the armored enemy too, so I modded a Tesla turret. It costs 1 armored back and 100 gold. This turret shoots chain lightning. The lightning chains from a maximum of 5 enemies. It does decent damage but loses 50% damage on each hit. It also stuns enemies, stopping their movement for 1 second every time they are hit. I made my own particles for this turret, which inspired me to make particles for the AK Sentry and Rocket Sentry. I would say they look better than they did, but they don't look too great, so they need some tweaking in the future. Now, I have 4 turrets, but you can place them wherever you want. So I added a hitbox so that turrets can't be placed too close to each other or on top of each other. This makes the players have to be more thoughtful in turret placements. You also can no longer place them inside walls. I may add a turret that can be placed on walls in the future, but this is just weird. This is all that I've made in my project so far. This game doesn't have a name just yet, so I am open to any suggestions. I have many more ideas and plans for the future of this game. I still need more turrets, turret upgrades, more enemies, and more types of enemies. In the next devlog, I will likely focus on making the game more scary using atmosphere. I will add sound effects, because right now it's just silence, as well as an actual map, creating more atmosphere with the lighting. If you want to see more, be sure to like and subscribe. I will be posting gaming videos alongside the devlogs if you're interested in that. And that's about it. Have a good rest of your day.